Hey, what's up guys? I'm here standing in front of the Himalayas behind me. I'm around Lahore and Spiti. We've just crossed the Atal tunnel coming from Manali. So I thought I'll make a video for you guys. In this video, we're going to cover how you can get over approach anxiety, why approach anxiety even happens. This is going to be an in-depth video and we're going to get into perspective of high cycle out here, where the inner part is what we're going to be focusing on more, and why the approach that we take, which is more of a practical approach, which is more of an approach of just getting over your fear as in just pushing through, might not always be the best way for you to get over any kind of fear. Alright, let's go. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to High Cycle. My name is Kshitij and today we're talking about approach anxiety. So let's get down to the basic causes of approach anxiety and let's just see why that happens. So if any point in time you have a fear of approaching people, talking to random people, as in this is going to be something which is going to be a lot for men, because men are the ones who are faced with the task of approaching the girl. And now since the times are changing, women have started approaching as well. So keeping that in mind, if at any point in time, let's say you're going out, you see someone that you want to talk, but you have a fear inside, you feel like if I go up and talk to them, something wrong is going to happen, something bad is going to happen. What if they throw a drink at my face? What if they don't like what I have to say? What if they reject me? When I go up to them, I'm going to be faced with rejection, I'm going to be faced with just a lot of problems. And what if the girl's boyfriend is there or some of the guys are there and they beat me up? So a lot of these fear come up. And this is not only in the mind, not only with the worst case scenarios, but then a body falls into it. So we might start feeling butterflies in our stomach, we might start feeling nervous, we might start to have heart palpitations, we might start sweating. I've had people on my coaching programs who, when I've asked them to go up and talk to a random person, they've had their hands sweating to a point where it almost seems like you've dipped someone's hand inside oil. Like, fill up a bucket of oil, dip someone's hands inside it and take it out. That's how much dripping of the sweat I've seen. At the same time, I've seen people sweating on the forehead as well. So your body falls into it. So when we talk about anxiety, in this case approach anxiety, it's not only about just the fear which is in your mind. It goes much more than that. It is an experiential thing. It is something that you experience right then and there. And just logically going through it does not really help at that time, alright? At the same time, the approach that has been used to get over approach anxiety, which I've also taught people mostly, has been very surface level. Like, go out there, face your fears, push through it. It's just fear. Everyone has heard those motivational quotes like, your comfort zone is the place where you die. Growth is always on the other side of it. Anything with the thing of winners quit and quitters don't win or something like that. That resistance is always going to be there. So all of these cheesy quotations are there, all of these cheesy motivational quotes are there, and which sound amazing while you're listening to them. But when it comes to the experiential part, it does benefit, but then there's a lot of damage also that gets done. So with following this approach of going out there, let's say there's this one thing that I've been teaching mainly to people is the 3-second rule, which is basically as soon as you feel your fear, you just jump on it and then you go out there and approach. Alright. And a number of people are not able to do that. Understanding what is really going on, let's break that down. So firstly, we're going to understand what's going on with that. Then we're going to get into the causes of why this is happening, why you might be feeling approach anxiety, and then the solution for it. So firstly, when you see someone that you want to talk to, someone attractive, what's going to happen right there is you are going to be putting yourself on the line for sexual rejection, for being rejected as a man or as a woman. And this rejection goes really deep down inside. Because if we talk to someone and that person does not like what we have to say or they reject us, what does that mean? That means we're not good enough. So we don't want to fall into this reality, because this reality is pretty painful for us at that point in time. Naturally, the fear comes up. And then when our body falls into it, when our body is having those heart palpitations and when our body is going behind those thoughts that are coming at that point in time, what's happening is we are getting triggered at that point in time. That could mostly be a trauma response as well, which we're going to break down in the upcoming sections of the video as well. So when you're going through something like that, your body is going into fear, you're feeling scared and you don't feel safe at that point in time. And right in front of you, you're being told to do a certain task which is going to make you feel even more unsafe. Even more unsafe in the sense that somebody is going to come and beat you up, some bad thing might happen, you might get rejected, you might get embarrassed in front of people, you might be given to the cops. So the fear response gets amplified. And when we feel like we just got to push through that, what we're doing is we're making ourselves feel even more unsafe. We're putting ourselves into the exact thing which is making us feel unsafe right now, which is making us feel disorganized. And this happens more if we've had a traumatic childhood, if we've had certain childhood conditioning as well. What I'm going to be proposing in this video is not going to be an outside-in approach. It's not going to be an approach of, yes, you've got to go out there, you've got to just push through it. It's not going to be a quote-unquote a David Goggins approach or like the army approach, where you have to just go out there and just push through it. We're going to talk about here building more safety inside and how that's going to be beneficial for you in the long run. Because if you are traumatized, if you feel trauma inside you and you're asked to do the same thing, which is triggering you right now, which means that you're going out there and putting yourself into that state of fear again, that is gonna re-traumatize you, and that is gonna make it even worse for you rather than making it better for you. Another point to note out here is, you do not always have to be on the opposite side of your comfort zone. All right, when you want to grow, that's great, but life, all of us crave stability. So if there is something safe around, if there is some stability around and you like that, you don't have to go around do things that are gonna make you feel disorganized if that is in true alignment to you. If approaching a random person isn't something that you want to do, it will not make you any less of a man or any less of a person or any less of a woman. It's only going to make you someone who has choice, someone who has boundaries, someone knows what they want, and this isn't something that they want. All right, so do not fall into this pressure of always going outside your comfort zone, always being on the other side. Try to take things more easier on yourself as well. When we're used to taking things in a very negative manner, when we're grown up in a manner where it's been very dysfunctional for us, where it was very scary growing up in an environment, or we've had a traumatic childhood, we will naturally find ourselves going after the difficult things in life, and which is where a number of this advice of going outside your comfort zone comes from. Because if you stay in your comfort zone and you're not growing, that basically means that you're not going to be good enough, and that means you're just staying out there. So it's coming from the core part of that I am not good enough, so I've got to be achieving something, I've got to be doing something. If you do not want to do that, there is no point of you getting triggering, there's no point of you traumatizing yourself, going ahead and doing something that isn't in alignment with you. On the flip side though, if you being in your comfort zone is coming from a space of fear, if that is coming from a space of you feel that you are missing out a lot on life, you feel that all the good things that you want, let's say you want to go ahead and solo travel, let's say you want to go ahead and talk to that person, let's say you want to quit that job and start your own entrepreneurial venture, or you want to take risk with anything, maybe you're a big fan of adventure sports but you cannot do that. So now what's happening is you're not in alignment with yourself, and now you are going to be feeling that I am missing out on life, and here what's going to happen is the self-esteem is going to go down because I'm not doing what I want to do in life. Here at this point in time, it makes sense for you to go out there and for you to get over your fear, get over your anxiety, get over your approach anxiety, and get things done the way you want them to be done and not the other way around. If that's you, this video is for you. Let's continue. So next part is going to be about the main causes of approach anxiety, why we feel the fear of approaching people. All right, there's going to be a couple of reasons about it, and stick with me till the end because that's where I'm going to be giving you the solution for that. Firstly, what we got to consider out here is the evolutionary psychology. So let's backtrack thousands of years, maybe even millions of years. All right, during the caveman times, if you went ahead and spoke to a woman, and that happened to be someone's wife, or that happened to be the tribal leader's wife, or that happened to be the sister of someone else, and that person did not like it, you could be dead within minutes. He's going to come with his friend and he's going to beat you up. And over the years, we've faced that, and those genes have passed on. So we have seen a lot of people dying, and that fear has been encoded inside us that if I talk to a girl and if she's already taken, or if she's the wife of the tribal leader or something like that, she's already married, her husband is going to come and is going to beat us up and we're going to die. So this pressure that we feel of approaching people and not wanting to approach people and just being safe with us, it's an evolutionary pressure that has been coded inside us to keep us safe. And that's how we've survived all these years. Our genes were the ones who have killed people over the years. Our genes were the ones which survived. So we were the people who learned how to survive at that point in time. All right. But at the same time, another thing you got to keep in mind is we survived. That means we were procreating as well. That means we did take the risk and we survived the risk. So now you've got the fear inside you, but you've got the risk-taking capabilities also inside you because your genes were not the ones which were annihilated during that time and they were passed on. Fast forward to the present moment. Now, we've got a lot of laws in place. We've got a lot of things in place. There is not this dog-eat-dog world out there. You are not going to be beaten up about something. So even the fear that you might be feeling, that's very different right now. All right. There are laws in place. People are much more sensible. We're living in a society. We are feeling much more safe. And in the entire history of mankind, this has been the most safest time for us. So evolutionary psychology being the one. Next thing is the childhood conditioning that might be there. So childhood conditioning is going to be firstly about the messages that you received while you were growing up in the household. So if the messages that you received while you grew up in the household, the house that you grew up in, and your parents told you that it's unsafe to talk to random people, it's not nice to talk to random people, or anything that made you feel unsafe, that the world out there is unsafe. If you received those kind of messages, you had that fear encoded inside you from a very young age, and that developed the conditioning. Now, while we're growing up, our brains are very fresh. So that became our true reality, that became our internal reality and our internal working model, which is why when we've grown up right now in the present moment, we feel that fear inside as if almost something bad is really going to happen, because that became our true truth, that became our almost personal law. Next, while growing up, almost everyone, all of us, have been in that space where we've been teased for liking a girl. Let's backtrack to our school times, alright. There must have been times where you like a girl, and what would happen is you tell your best friend. You tell your best friend that this is the girl I like. Or maybe you're a girl, you told some of your guys that this is the guy that we like. But taking this from a perspective of boys out here. So you tell a friend that there's this girl in my class, I really like her, and you tell him to not tell anybody else. And guess what he does? The first thing that he does is he goes around and he tells everybody that Kshitij has a crush on this girl. Oh my god, he likes this girl, he has a crush on this girl. Now, the entire class knows, almost the entire school knows. And it would have happened that maybe the seniors also in your classes, let's say if you're in class 10 right now, the seniors in the senior school, one of them had a crush on this girl and he also gets to know. On a worst case scenario, some people would have ganged up and beaten you up. So that would be another traumatic incident as well. And that would teach you that we're never supposed to put our sexual intentions, or we're never supposed to put our romantic intentions out in the public, and people cannot be trusted. And anytime I put out my romantic intention and I tell anybody that I like someone, something bad is going to happen to me. So that gets encoded in us, and that becomes a fear response as well, coming from this state of trauma that happened while we were growing up, because of the shaming that happened, because of the teasing that happened. All right. And anytime when you have to show intent, where you have to show your true intentions, or where you have to take the risk to tell the person that I like you, which is how you can survive in your dating life, which is the only way that you can find a partner, apart from arranged marriages, of course. So when you do that, the same fear gets triggered inside, and you're not able to do that. All right, you cannot show intent. The same thing while approaching a complete random stranger, you're not able to do that. Another reason why you might be feeling that approach anxiety is the mainstream conditioning that's out there. So the mainstream tells us that showing your sexual intentions to someone is bad. If you show them to someone, that means you're sort of taking advantage of them. And the basic part that women don't like sex, and men like sex, and men are going to use women for sexual intentions as well. Alright, so it creates a lot of shame around sexuality, and creates a lot of shame around going up and talking to someone, because it feels like you're somehow doing them a disservice, and it's almost like women are asexual creatures who do not want you to come up to them. If this were true, the dating apps that are going on out here so much, that would not have been existing out there, alright. If this was true, so many things out there of the dating world which has been going on, where everyone feels that they're single, everyone feels that everyone's looking for a partner out here, specifically in their 20s and 30s, everybody wants to settle down. That would not have been there. Our major motivation out here is to find a partner, is to have a good dating life, is to have a good social life, is to have an amazing love life. Alright. So with all these mainstream conditioning, this childhood conditioning, and combining with the evolutionary pressure, all of that stuff, it makes things very, very worse for us. One more point which I would like to cover out here is that if we've grown up feeling like we're not good enough, if we've grown up feeling like we're not confident, and people around us have told us that there's no way you're going to find a girlfriend, or there's no way any guy will like you ever. If that happens, that makes us feel like we're not good enough. And if we're not good enough, on top of what the messages our friends have given us, on top of what we've seen that other people get girlfriends, that we're not going to find a partner, or that no way someone else can like us, or maybe the trauma that we went through while growing up, where maybe our needs weren't met, and we somehow felt that that's not happening because we're not good enough. Or maybe we failed in certain things. We were not very successful with studies, or we were not successful with the sports. And that made us feel like there's something wrong with us, we're flawed and we're not good enough. So if that's the case, that we feel that we're not good enough and no one else is going to like us, no wonder we're going to feel the fear why we go up and talk to someone, because that is setting us up for sexual rejection and rejection of a core being, and it makes it very difficult for us. Coming to the solution part of it, so how do you get over it? We've gone into a lot of detail, we've talked about a number of things out here. How do you get over this approach anxiety, this fear that you've been feeling? First thing I want you to do is remember, almost it's so true that our forefathers were the ones who killed the other people, and their genes were weeded out of existence. So if we've got the fear inside us, we've got the ability also inside us to get over it, to take the risk and not make it something that we cannot do. So you've got the courage inside of you to get that done as well. Next, talking about the part of if you feel triggered while you're going out, the best thing that you can do is progressively desensitize yourself. Alright. But here at the same time, I want you to create safety inside rather than just going out there and just getting it done. So one thing you can do right now is to create safety inside, to be connected to the inside part of you and understand what's going on. Firstly, you'll have to build awareness for that. Alright. One amazing way to do that is there's a private training, there's a free training that I've put up online on the website. It's called the Subconscious Ankles Training, which will get you in touch with your subconscious part for you to be aware of what's going on inside and what is it that you need at that point in time. What you can do with that is Go to that, watch the training, start being connected with yourself. Once you're connected with yourself, when you're going out and you feel that you're getting triggered at any point in time, you feel the fear is coming up, then you gotta ask yourself, what is it that's going on right now? What is it that I really feel? What is it that's gonna make me feel safe out here? And then if something is not making you feel safe, what you need to do is you gotta build that safety inside by giving yourself affirmations that I'm safe out here, nothing bad is gonna happen, and all that stuff. So the keyword out here is gonna be safety. Feeling safe inside your body, being able to handle those emotions, being present to those emotions, the sensations that you're feeling when you get triggered. Now, let's say you go out with the sole purpose of meeting someone, of approaching someone. If you go out with the sole purpose of that, when you see someone, as soon as the thought comes in your mind, you're gonna start to feel the fear inside. During that time, the first day what I want you to do is, I want you to just relax at that time. Just be present with the emotion that's coming up, with the sensation that's coming up, with the things that are making you feel out there. Here, start to notice the different parts of your body. Where are you feeling the nervousness? Where are you feeling the fear? Is it in the heart palpitations? Is it in the mind? Is it the sweat? What is going on? And then again, whatever is happening, try to change the labeling of that. Try to change it from a space of fear and anxiety to a space of excitement. Because what you're going to do right now is you're going to approach someone. And that is an exciting thing for you. You're getting outside your comfort zone. You're doing the things that you want to do out here. You're doing the things that will be amazing for you. So you start to label it as excitement rather than labeling it as fear. One key thing to understand out here is when fear comes up and we run away from there, it reinforces the pattern again. For an example, like you go out, you see someone that you want to approach. All right. You want to approach someone, the fear comes up, body palpitations, heart palpitations, everything happens. You don't take any action on it. And you run away from that situation, you come back home. The way your brain processes that is that there was a danger situation out there, the amygdala fires like fight or flight response. We flight from there, we run away from there, and we get to safety. The pattern that the brain registers, the neurons that have been registered in the brain is that there's a dangerous situation, because I ran away, now I'm safe out here. So now you're training your brain to teach them what? That the next time the situation arises again, you run away from there and you go back home. The number of times you do this, the number of times you don't do the approach, the number of times you don't face that fear, more and more and more, the fear keeps on rising, and this pattern gets more and more solidified into your brain. So to break that, we'll have to progressively desensitize while being safe at the same time, taking it one step at a time. So maybe just going out is very difficult for you. So what you do is you start going out and you just be there and you just notice what's going on in your body. And you try to breathe at that time. Alright, try to breathe into those sensations. Try to breathe and be present with that. Tell yourself that I'm safe right now, I am okay right now, we're not doing anything. What you're going to do by doing this is you build resilience into those emotional states, into those sensations. Next day you go out again. Now you do the minimum action. Once you've been comfortable with just being out there, just the thought of approaching someone, you go out there and you start with the minimum action. Maybe you ask the time to someone, or maybe you just ask them directions to some place, or maybe you just give them a compliment on what they're feeling. If the compliment thing is a bit too much, you maybe just ask them directions to something, or like if you're at a club, you ask them what are they drinking, or you ask them which side is the washroom, anything like that. The next time you go out there, if complimenting someone, showing your intentions are there, is what makes you feel weird, start complimenting them. Compliment them with a very simple thing, and you don't have to stay there, all right? You just say that and you just run away. Because just by doing that, you're telling your brain that I'm doing something like this, I'm facing my fear, but still I'm being safe after that, nothing bad happened to me. And once you repeat this more and more and more, you can finally start having amazing conversations. And what you do is you build resilience. At the same time, you build safety in those emotional states, and you be more comfortable with those emotional states. And that's how you're going to be getting over your approach anxiety with a very step-by-step approach and not making it super difficult for you. Final things that I want to cover out here is, let's say, the 3-second rule. It's 100% true that if you do not do the approach, if you do not do anything fearful within the first 3 seconds, your mind is going to kick in and your mind is going to make you not do that, and your mind is going to make you just run away. So understanding that fear is coming from a space of a thought. That fear is coming from a space of thought. So if you can take the action, which is the rule of the 3-second, if you take the action before fear kicks in, you go ahead and you get that done. All right. And that's how you make it much easier for you, and you bypass this entire fucking process. But safety needs to be there. You've got to make yourself feel safe. Check out the training that I've just mentioned out here, and go out there. You can utilize the 3-second rule as well. It's about finding that safety inside you. It's about finding that courage inside you as well, and getting used to the different emotional states. One thing that's going to be more helpful is starting a practice of meditation, and at the same time starting to regulate yourself in these situations as well. Breathwork is helpful with that. Meditation is helpful with that. You can do a number of those things, and that's going to make this much easier for you. I hope this clears out everything. If you're going out there and you're trying it out, let me know in the comment section below how it went for you. Or if you're still having certain problems out here, if there's anything that I haven't covered out here, put it in the comment section below or shoot me an email. Would love to help you out with that. If there's any other perspective out there, would love to cover that as well. Alright, so that's going to be all from my side, guys. This is Kshitij. I'm going to be signing off from the beautiful hills, the Himalayas out here. It's windy, it's really nice, it's sunny. I think this is the perfect weather that anybody could have hoped for. I'm going to be here for just a couple more days, and then I'm going to be bouncing back to Delhi, back to civilization. Alright, this is Kshitij signing off. I hope you loved the video. If you did, make sure you hit the subscribe button, spank it, smash it, demolish it, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.